and welcome to a little chat all about my knitting project planners and plans for 2025. My name is Laura and this is not an episode of the Lonely Knitter podcast, which is where I normally pop up and chat all about my knitting, crafting life. I am the dyer behind the Lonely Knitter. I dye at Folk Yarn Studio, which is my yarn studio in Lowestoft, the most easterly town in England. I run East Anglia Yarn Festival, which is an annual show in Norwich, and yeah, I make folk yarn as well, which is all behind me. That is an East Anglian yarn, which is wool all sourced from East Anglia, spun in the UK, some of it dyed in the UK and brought back to me in the most easterly town in England. So this is not a podcast episode, this is me in the middle of the Christmas holidays. It is again another video from in between Christmas and New Year where I haven't got a clue what day of the week it is. It's blowing an absolute hoolie outside, so if you can hear the wind, I'm so sorry. Also, if you hear seagulls, I'm so sorry because I am right by the sea. And yeah, I had a message from someone last time saying that they heard a seagull on one of my videos. I was like, that's normal. Anyway, hi, my name's Laura. If you haven't been here before, if you have been here before, hi, thanks for coming back. And yeah, as I said, this video, quick chat, all about plans for next year, because if you have been with me, especially if you've been with me from the early days, you know that I am queen of all the big plans. Very little of the follow through. I mean, some of the things have been followed through on, things like setting up a yarn show, and yeah, that went a bit like I never thought it would. Yeah, there's lots of things that do happen, but also I want to do a million and one things, and I have little children and family and animals and volunteer stuff and all these other things I also want to do, and there is only a certain amount of hours in the day. Now, I am slightly losing my voice. I know exactly why. It's not glamorous. I just sing Christmas songs a lot at Christmas time, and yeah, now I have made 2 children that like to do the same, and we pretty much 24/7 are singing songs throughout the holidays, so I'm a little bit my voice is worn out, so yeah, apologies for that. Anyway, a lot of this video, or at least the start of this video, will definitely be sort of featuring a lot of stationery. Now, I know that I am not alone when I say that I love a notebook. I love stationery of all kinds. I love a notebook, I love a diary, I have many. I have been through them all. I've done many happy planners. Erin Condren, that one was pricey, getting that over here. Yeah, I have had about probably 15 Filofaxes, probably more actually. I probably could locate 3 or 4 in my house now, and I haven't used one in a little while. Any kind of planner, traveller's notebook, anything like that, I am an absolute magpie for. Do I use them for more than about 15 minutes? Probably not. Do I lose them constantly? Yep. So I'm simplifying things this year. I am going to try and start the year out with a diary, but it is not a massively expensive diary. I have dug back out my project planner. I have another little plan for something fun to do with my little girl, and I am now at the end of my row, so I'm going to put my knitting down. Okay, so let's jump right in with my planners. So I have a few planners and then I have a few plans to share. The first one I'm going to show you, and I'm not going to go massively in depth into these, but it is this. This is my 2025 diary. Now, when I say it is my diary, kinda, my entire life now lives in a Google calendar. I love my can't say the word Google. I love my Google calendar because it alerts me, tells me stuff, makes me remember, and I always have my phone on me, and I never lose my phone anymore because I always wear my watch. I use my watch to find my phone. Yeah, so as long as I remember to put my watch on, I can find my phone. And then I use the Tile app to find my purse and my keys. And I can also use my phone to find my tablet. So that's how my life has got a lot better since I have found some techniques to stop me losing things. Anyway, I still like to have a paper diary. It won't have all of the information and things in it that I need to know about life in general. The Google Calendar has that in there, but I find this a brilliant visual aid to plan out my days and things for work. So the Google Calendar will have everything in it, but this will have, when I start going through it, certain days for when I want to release things and when I want to put things out for my business. So this is very much a business diary. It'll sync up with my Google, can't say Google. It will sync up with my Google Calendar a lot. This was $7.99 in TK Maxx. It's pretty basic, but I love a ring bind. Is that a ring binder? What is that? Oh wow, I think I'm totally wrong. I love rings because I like my book to lay flat. It has stickers in them. I'll probably use these for about 15 seconds and then never touch them again. I mean, I have, yeah, there's no way. I pretty much can guarantee you those will still be there at the end of the year. I love a sticker. I love the idea of a really pretty journal. I really wish that I would engage enough to make this really beautiful. I would like to. Maybe I'll try and do like 1 page a month that's pretty. But I am a squirrel who will walk off and want to do about 50 million other things, and I know I'm not going to carry it on. And there will be proof of that in a minute. So it's a really basic diary, but it just has a year to view at the front, and then it's got, I really like this. It has got, let's just go through January. So January has a goals page. Again, probably not going to fill it in. January goals, January to-dos, January birthdays, January anniversaries. I know I'm useless. It's just, I have low expectations of myself. And then I've got a month to view, which is the most important bit for me anyway. And then I do have weekly spreads. The weekly spreads I might use, might not, might just use to put lists and notes on those days in. I don't know. Honestly, the bit I know is going to get used the most is the notes section. There's a notes section in the back of every single month, and then the one at the back is really big. It was a cheap diary. It was, yeah, but I am fed up of spending tons of money on these beautiful planners and these business goal books and these massive A4 ones that I never want to carry around. And yeah, this is it for 2025. If I get through the whole year and actually use this and make it worth the $7.99, because I've spent a lot more money in previous years and not used them at all. But if I can make this worth its $7.99, then maybe in 2026 I can look at something nicer, bigger, fancier, if I can prove I can use this one. On to the next planner. Now, I love this planner, but you're going to laugh at me in a minute. So, I have 2 of these. I don't know where the second one is. Maybe I gave it to somebody as a gift. But I'm going to buy more. Now, these are the project planners from Tilly Flop. Now, the reason I say I'm going to buy more, even though I haven't used this one, is just because I love stationery and I will use it at some point. And also because she brings out different patterns and they're really pretty. So, Julie, who is Tilly Flop, is a stationery notebook artist, all the things. I'm butchering everything. She's on Etsy, she's on Not on the High Street, she's on Facebook. Those things are written on the back of here. But Julie is amazing. The stuff that comes out of her brain. I've got some postcards here because I took them down because they were messing with I want to fuzz out the background on a picture that I was doing, and I had these up earlier. The rest of them are in frames ready to go on walls, and I didn't have enough frames. But she makes these big postcards, big lovely postcards that say things like more stash enhancement and all the yarn, not enough time. I feel that one a lot. Anyway, they can go back up now. But Julie Tilly Flop is one of the nicest people going. Makes loads of amazing stationery bits, makes amazing cards, and makes oh, I love them, they're yarn bands, candles and all sorts of other things too, and tea towels, and prints onto tea towels. But she also makes cards, greeting cards, but she also makes these bands that go around socks. So if you knit a pair of socks to gift them, they have bands that you can put in them. It's very cute. And care instructions obviously can go on there. But this is my favourite thing that Julie makes, and you'd think it was not my favourite thing, because you're going to see what I did. Now, not apparently, because I bet it's on a YouTube video somewhere, but in 2023, I said I was going to write everything down. 2024 has just gone out the window. I don't even know what happened to the rest of this year, but in 2023, I wrote 2023 in the first page. So you open it up, and this first grid page had a space to write whatever you want in there. And I obviously decided it was 2023 and I was going to record things. I even put the details in because this is a real bugbear of mine, that I will start a project, put it down because squirrel, and then not know the details later. So back at the start, I think, of 2023, I was going to write down the start date of all projects, what I was calling them, and I fill in all the sections in the planner. And I was going to do that for every project throughout the year. I'll tell you how far I got. I think I got to the 4th of January. I'm useless. I would like this to be the year of change. Let's all see. We can all go, oh yeah, she did it, if I actually manage to affect change within myself. Or you can all laugh at me when I don't. But I wrote 2023, and then I cast on a pair of socks, apparently on the 31st of December, put the details in. Don't know what happened to those socks. Absolutely not a clue. I wouldn't even know where I could find them. And then I put a thing in, because I was going to do a square a day blanket throughout that year. I am influenced by, I have friends who make square a day blankets, and yeah, project square a day blanket. The 1st of January, starting with 38 squares, because I already had 38 squares obviously in this blanket. I don't even know where this blanket is. Sock yarn, approximately 3 grams per square on 2.75mm needles. That's apparently what I was doing. Now that would have been a mitered square blanket. And then this is hilarious, but I've written square a day tracker. That would help me on this dot grid page. And there it says January. And there's 4 little lines. And nothing else. Nothing else. And then, actually I finished this. Granny Hexagon Cardi. Cast on in 2022, picked back up on the 4th of January 2023. Giddy Yarns DK in Kings and Queens of Narnia and Edmund's Betrayal on a 5.5mm crochet hook. Now I did finish that. That was the make along project for EAYF. I did finish it. It's in my wardrobe. But you wouldn't think it to look at the planner, because I didn't then write anything else at any point. What is wrong with me? And then the rest of the book is completely blank. So I had a good start for 4 days in January. And then that looks like that's where it ended. I probably lost it. I found this in my garage room. It wasn't even in a room in the house that I'm currently using. Yeah, that's kind of like become an extension of the shed. So yeah, this is coming back out. I'm tearing this page. This is coming right out, because first of all, the only thing I'm losing is this space here, because the back part is a project page, same as the rest of them. Second of all, I don't want to live with the shame, and the rest of it is all perfect. So I love this about Julie's notebooks. So you got a ruler first of all here, because the amount of times I have just needed to measure for a gauge swatch or something, or like a few centimeters, you've got that on the inside of your book. The inside of the front and back cover have details like needle and hook sizes, and obviously conversion chart for that, and then knit abbreviations, some basic ones, crochet abbreviations, yarn weights, their wraps per inch and their gauge. Yeah, little things. I mean, on the back there's bits about hand stitching tips, sewing machine needles, hand sewing needles, interfacing guide, little things like that. I love this book. I want to use it this year. I just got interrupted by a phone call and I've lost my track completely. I love this book. So, plans. Let's see if I use this planner at all. Basic TK Maxx $7.99 planner. Let's see if I use this at all. If I do use this throughout 2024, I am allowed, maybe, to buy myself a fancier planner in 2025. Or, if this worked really well, I'll go out and buy myself another little cheap one, because, I mean, $7.99 isn't that cheap, but it's cheap for what it is, considering you get quite a lot in there. This is my real mission. I want to fill this up. Well, not fill it up. I don't need to fill all the pages. I just want to use it throughout this year. Have a record of what I've done. Actually feel like I've achieved something, because I can look back on it and use this notebook, which I really like. So, 2 planners. The next thing's a little bit different. Now, I will most likely mention yarn and fibre and knitting and crochet and stuff in this thing, but it isn't a totally knitting related one. This is more of a memory keeping thing. I have seen these before. I've had one before. I had one all the way through uni actually. But as you can see, I have 2 here. These are 1 line a day 5-year memory books. Again, I seem to be committing myself to something that I am likely to not last 5 years. If I can't do a diary that lasts a year, what am I thinking that I'm going to get through 5? However, I'm doing it anyway. So I have 2. Why do you ask? One is not mine. Originally, when I was thinking about doing this, I found this one. And these are from Waterstones. I think they're normally excuse my dye hands, by the way. I have been dyeing today. They're normally like $14.99, but I had a voucher. So I bought myself, with my voucher, a 1 line a day diary, which my 7-year-old, almost 8-year-old, fell in love with. I explained to her what it was. I said I'd had one when I was younger. And yes, got a little space for this journal, belongs to. And I'm sure everyone's seen these before, but just in case you haven't, you can start these. It does give you instructions in the front on how to use it. But you can start these at any point in the year. You don't have to wait for January 1st, but we are waiting for January 1st just because we're nearly at the end of the year. And you'll see, if you've never seen these before, my awful nails as well. But again, I'm a dyer. This is life. So here we have 5 sections and it says 20 up at the top. So we fill in, what we will do on the 1st of January is put in, after the 20, we'll put 25. And this is, as it says at the top of the page, January 1. So on the 1st of January 2025, we will write a little bit about our day in that one top section. And then we'll go through, fill the entire year in the top section. And then on the 1st of January 2026, we will fill in the second section and carry on through that whole thing. I bought this for me. My child fell in love with it, and she is a big lover of books and reading and writing, and this was a beautiful book, and she wanted one, and she wanted this one specifically, and we talked about it a little bit. And then last week, because we were going to do it together, but then last week I found this one. And I also had, in Waterstones, I'd bought some games for gifts and other things on the run up to Christmas. And if you have one of their rewards cards, it's just, you collect points, like points card when you buy stuff. And you get vouchers when you hit a certain point. And I had a £10 voucher sat on my card. So this cost me $4.99 to me because I built up my points. But yeah, it's the same thing. And it's another 1 line a day. It has like the gold edging, I don't know what that's called, but yeah, it's really pretty. And yeah, we were in, it's exactly the same, literally no different, but we were in Waterstones, me and her together, and she said, look, those are the line a day books, because she was reading the spines on them all, and I think there's a little sign, and they still had these ones in there, and I was like, oh, they didn't have one like this before. And I picked it out and I just loved it. Is that the right way up? It's not even the right way up. There we go. I just loved it. And I thought it looked so pretty. And Ellie said, you could get that one and I could have your one. And I said, yeah, shall we do it? So we have a plan. These are going to live in Ellie's bedroom on her top of her bookcase. So before we read our chapter, we're going to get our books off the top bookshelf and we're going to write our line a day, and she will keep me honest on it because it's the sort of thing she'll want to do. But it's something that we can hopefully fit into our routine, because how amazing would it be in 5 years' time? She's going to go through so much change between the age of 7 and, I mean, almost 8, but yeah, 8 and almost 13, if she still even wants to do it with me when she's almost 13, she might not want to. And yeah, it will be such a lovely memory thing for us to both have together and sort of sync up, and yeah, hopefully, we'll see. So I will check in with you throughout the year as to whether or not we've actually done these. But these are all the planners, even though one of them is not mine, planners and diaries that I have purchased for, or obviously this one I did not purchase for 2025, but that I have purchased all of them, that I will hopefully be using in 2025. Now, on to something that is a little bit less plannery and more planny. So I have 2 things that are running throughout this year. Now, this does not mean that other things won't pop up and be running throughout this year. So there are 2 things coming up. Now, one of them hasn't massively been chatted about yet. It's been hinted at a few times in a few places, but I haven't spoken properly about it. There will be a video coming up where I go into a bit more depth on it, but by the time this video goes up, we'll have done a little Instagram and Discord announcement. From the 1st of January, I am co-hosting a make-along with Giddy Yarns, my lovely friend Helen. If you don't watch the Giddy Knits podcast, head over and have a look. Yeah, she has a podcast. It's lovely. If you don't watch her, go watch her. She's a delight. Yeah, her podcast is much more consistent than mine. So Helen is quite well known for being a lover of the Grimblewood gnomes, or any of the gnome patterns by Sarah Shearer, who is Imagined Landscapes on Instagram. I love the gnomes. I have started many gnomes. As I have mentioned already in this video, I am a massive squirrel and gone, casting on some sort of random thing that someone's waved in the air, and I've abandoned everything. I don't want to be that person anymore. Not sure I can do much about it, but I'm gonna have a go. But the gnomes are something that I love, I want. I have about 4 of them in total. Most of them have been adopted by my children. These ones that I want to make are not to be adopted by my children, they're for me. But I really want to make more of the gnomes. And I was talking to Helen about this, and I'm also, and I've had these in for a little while now, but I'm also a book stockist. I have a few books in stock over on my website, and one of them is The Gnomes of Grimblewood. I love this book. It's beautiful. It's so just really nicely put together. And so there are 8 gnomes in this book. This is The Gnomes of Grimblewood. And I don't think it will matter if I just show you this page, because I think this page is actually all over the internet anyway. But these are the 8 gnomes. And I want them all. I want all 8 gnomes. I think they're brilliant. And yeah. And I stocked this book, and I've had it staring at me for a few months now from the shelf. And I want the gnomes. So I spoke to Helen about it, and I said, would you be up for doing a bit of a Grimble along with me? And she was, because she's a good sport. So we have come up with the Friends That Grimble Together make along, and I want to complete it. That's my plan. There's my plan. We will pop up a video hopefully together at some point. We do live about 9 hours away from each other, so it won't be together in person, but something that we can put up so that you can see a bit more about what we're on about. But by now the posts will be up, so I will pop them up on the screen here. And the idea is that we will knit 8 gnomes between the 1st of January and the end of October. There will be prizes. Prizes will be being drawn from our Discord groups. And yeah, it's just a bit of fun. Just a little bit of it'll help me actually make the gnomes. I know Helen always wants to make more gnomes. I don't know if she was planning on making all the gnomes from the book or just other ones. It is open for all the gnomes. And yeah, it's just a fun little plan. As part of that, I've put together a few slides, and one of them is a gnome plans slide. So I'll show you my gnome plans. I've got my own copy here so I can see it, because right now this copy is not here in real life, obviously. So the Friends That Grimble Together, an unofficial knit along. Now I have put that in there because Sarah of Imagined Landscapes, please obviously do check her out if you haven't heard of her, but she's huge, so I'm sure you have heard of her. Runs her own make alongs, knit alongs for gnomes, gnome alongs all the time, so head over and have a little look. But we are very much an unofficial, just love gnomes, want to make the gnomes. Do you want to make them along with us? If you do, come along. So it's the Friends That Grimble Together, unofficial knit along, and we have gnome plans. So we've given you 2 months at the start of the make along, so that you have 2 months to get started. So if you're not seeing this until February, or if you want to join in but you know you're not going to have your needles clear until the end of February, you could still do that and keep along track with us. However, if you're seeing this months down the line and you think, I'm going to make them gnomes, catch up. That's no problem either. We are not sitting here going, if you didn't finish that gnome by the end of February, you're out. It's not how it works. So I'm going to make Nolan between January and February. I'm going to make Noddy in March. I am going to make Nori in April, Natalia in May, Nicole in June, Nectar in July, Gnarly in August, and Noodles in September and October. And I have left Noodles, who is the smallest gnome, right until the end, because that is also catch-up 2-month period. The reason there's 2 months at the end is to catch up on any finished bits off, whatever, if you need a little bit of extra time at the end. So I've left Noodles, the littlest, easiest one, till the very end, so that I can catch up with others if I have fallen behind. But I want to make this make along. I want to do this. So this is one of my biggest plans. This is gonna happen in 2025. Now that one slots right into the next one because I can include it in the next plan. So this is my next plan, and this is the Bingo Crafting Challenge for 2025. Now this is another Giddy Yarns reference in this video. I'm not obsessed with you, Helen, I promise. Helen is lovely, but also I really enjoy her podcast, and she runs the Bingo Crafting Challenge, which is just a bingo board you put up and you put 9 things on the board. So this is not a make along that I organise in any way, shape or form. This is someone else's. This is Giddy Yarns' podcast, and she runs this make along, and I thought, you know what, this year I'm going to join in and I'm going to get through it, because I've made a bingo board, or I've made a list and said this will be what will go on my bingo board when I get around to making it, and then I've not even got around to making it in the past years because organisation. This year I want to be different. We'll see, probably not. But I have 9 things on my board. So this is the board that Helen makes and provides so that you can put your own things on, and I have popped my own things on. So the first thing of the 9 things I want to complete in this entire year is the Friends That Grimble Together make along. So I've included that in both. So yeah, I get to tick off a whole square on my bingo board if that actually happens. The next thing that I want to make is the Sweet Shop blanket, or my next plan, my next challenge is the Sweet Shop blanket, which is going to be made from my We Got This Club mini skeins. So my clubs are open at the moment for sign-ups for January. They'll close on the 1st of January at midday, and I am going to take my small club, which is 3 mini skeins a month, and I'm making the DK version, and I'm going to make a Sweet Shop blanket. It's been on my list for forever. Loads of people have done it recently and shown me, and it's made me really, really, really want to make it. So Sweet Shop blanket, that's on there. Whether or not it's all joined together by the end of the year, as long as the actual minis are all knit up into the blanket by the end of the year, I'm happy. The next one is my Daft Days cardigan. I've cast it on, not had any time to work on it because I've been working on Advent all the way through December. I need that Daft Days cardigan in time for East Anglia Yarn Festival, because I want to make the make along for East Anglia Yarn Festival. So the show that I run, East Anglia Yarn Festival in Norwich every March, we always have a crochet and a knit pattern for a make along that people make, and then you can collect a free ribbon award if you make it and wear it. I want to make mine. I like the Daft Days cardigan. I want to make it. The next thing I have on my crafting challenge is the Strobolus shawl, which I am making in a Chromatic Yarns Advent. I have it cast on, I have a bit of the first section done, and then I put it down at the start of Advent because all the things throughout December, and haven't had a chance to pick it back up yet. I want that made by the end of the year because I love that Advent and I like the look of the pattern. Strobolus shawl. Now this one also ties into something that we've already talked about in this video. I want to record all my knitting and my crochet in the project planner. We'll see. If I write it everywhere, maybe it'll happen. The next one is my Spin and Leather Advent socks. Now, last year in 2023, throughout December, I actually knit the Advent socks. I knit my stripe a day on both socks, and at the end of Advent, I had a lovely pair to wear. I got as far as casting on the cuff, and that is it this year. And I'm annoyed with myself. But again, December, I'm not beating myself up because December was hideous. But I want them. So that might even be a January thing, when it's all cold and dark and miserable, and I'll be making very stripy socks. My next thing is the birthday and Christmas gifts I want to make for my children. Now, my children, I've talked about this in a previous video, they are incredibly knit and crochet worthy. They love everything I make, and I always run out of time. This year, at the absolute last minute, I squeaked in handmade presents before Christmas, and I'm so glad I did because they absolutely loved them. But I would like to try and plan ahead a little bit more for that. Now my daughter's birthday is in January and we're nearly in January and I haven't even got a plan. So we'll see. They don't have to be big things, they just have to be handmade things. My penultimate one is to complete my Advent pattern in both sock and DK. So that sounds like a bit of a challenge, but the thing should be a challenge. It is a challenge. This is my Advent pattern. It is a pattern out of my head, and when I say complete it, what I mean is I'm going to knit this all, and I'm nearly done. So we're in the 20s now. I can't remember which one. I think it might be 21 that I'm in now. I want to finish this shawl. It's all written up. I'm just throwing my needles around. It's all written up already because I have been writing it up as I go. When it's finished, I want to put it out to testing, and I want to cast on the DK version. What I mean by complete my Advent pattern is by the end of this year, I would love for this pattern to have been released for sale as a as a advent option for next year, because I'm loving it. It's just garter stitch and a few eyelets and increases and decreases every now and then, and it's very, very vanilla and very chill. So yeah, it's just one of those things that I always say I'm going to put patterns out, make the things, and then I'm like, not sure I love that bit, not sure I love this bit. This is something I'm really enjoying, and I really want to actually do what I said I was going to do and put it out. So it's on my list. And my last thing is to knit a stashed advent this summer. Well, this is actually a bit more of an idea. I would like to run a make along this summer, a bit of a Christmas in July, but less than July, like more than July, more than that, be like a Christmas in the summer months, but that does not have the ring that Christmas in July has. But yeah, basically where in the middle of the year we all have a little look, and if we have an advent that we haven't used, and I have a few that are living in my stash that I just haven't had time to get round to, we'll get those advents out and make something lovely. It doesn't have to be a mini skein advent. I'm actually eyeing up my weekly DK advent from Castleview Yarns that I got this year. That would be perfect for something to make in the summer. So that is my Giddy Knits bingo board, and those are all my plans for this year. So I have, for me, because this one's for Ellie, but for me, 3 things that hopefully will get used, we'll see. And I have 2 plans in terms of make-alongs I want to join in on already. And yeah, we'll see how it goes. Don't hold out too many hopes. I will update. I'm trying to plan things out a bit better for this year because I have the studio now. I have a lot more capacity and ability to plan and brain, hopefully, anyway. So I'm thinking if it's not monthly, it'll be maybe a mid-year check-in on whether or not I'm actually using the things that I said I was going to use. We'll see. Yeah, I think that was everything, but those are the project planners, the plans, the make-alongs and things that I want to join in for 2025. Yeah, what is it that you're looking forward to in 2025, and what are you planning to do? Have you got any clubs you'd like to share? Have you got any planners that you'd love to share? Is there anything make-alongs wise that you're planning on doing? I would love to live vicariously through you. I can't guarantee that I'd join in with any of them because I'm that person who last year signed up for about 3 different things and didn't do any of them. I have a cross stitch that I was sent the bits of the pattern monthly throughout last year. I did about 2 stitches in January. I did break my thumb, and that's why I didn't carry on with it after a very small amount, but I didn't pick it back up after my thumb was healed. Yeah, what have you got that's coming up in 2025 that you're excited for? Or what are you using to keep yourself organised if that's something you want to do? Or are you going to have a year where you just give yourself a bit of a break and let your craftiness take you where it wants to take you? I'd love to know. Please share. And yeah, thank you so much as always for making me so much less of a lonely knitter.